Welcome to our tutorial on printing in Python programming. In this video, we'll explore the various ways you can output information to the console using the print function in Python. Before I begin, let's take action now. Subscribe to this channel and hit the like button. Let's get started. The print function is a fundamental tool in Python that allows us to display text, numbers, variables, and other data to the console. We will talk about variables in another video. For right now, let's start with a simple print statement. Here, I have my Python interpreter, and I typed it in the main.py section. The function print and an open parentheses, start with a double quote, and I write my text. This is my first program, close it with a double quote, and then close my parentheses. When I run the program that I just coded, Python will print whatever I have in between my double quotes. So let's go ahead and run the program here, and you can see this is the output. Python will just output whatever is in between these double quotes. All right, let's look at another one here. Let me get back to my interpreter here. Let's look at another print statement here. This one, I have single quote. So Python doesn't care if you have double quotes around the text or single quote. Either way, Python will accept your code here. So let's run this. If I run it, it will print whatever's inside the single quote. Remember, if you start with a single quote, you need to end with a single quote. If you start with a double quote, you need to end with a double quote. If we have an example that looks like this one, I start with a single quote and end with a double quote. If we run it, Python won't like it. Python will give us an error message because we start the print statement here and then open parentheses, but a single quote, and then we have the text, and then we end with a double quote. Same if we have a double quote here, and we end with a single quote, Python won't like this either. So if we run, we'll get the same error as previous. All right, let's continue coding here. Here, I want to output something different. I want to have an output that looks something like this. So I'm just going to type it in here. I want the output, that means what's going to output here, to look something like this. I am reading, computer is fun, and I'll have the double quote inside my text, or I will have the single quote inside my text. So how do I generate a print statement that will include the double quote or the single quote in my sentence here? The way you do that is, and let me erase this here. The way you do that is, if you're going to have double quotes as part of the output, then you need to start with a single quote. So you can see I start with a single quote here and end with a single quote. If I want single quote as part of the sentence that's being outputted, I'll start with a double quote and end with a double quote. So let's run this program here. As you can see, I am reading, and the sentence here included the double quotes. The second sentence here includes the single quote. So you can see how to code it up here. Now, I want to generate an output. This is a different program now. I want to generate an output that has both single quote and double quotes in the sentence in my output. How do I do that? Well, there are many different ways of doing this. And I'm going to code up here many different ways you can do that. First, of course, you have your print keyword here. And then we can start with a double quote around I'm reading and include the single quote here. So I'm reading surrounded by double quote and then a plus symbol. This plus symbol is what we call a concatenation operator, and that will combine the two texts here and combine them into one. And all about plants, I want a double quote around all about plants. So I need to start with a single quote and end with a single quote. So this is one way you can code this sentence. So when you run it, you can see that you'll have the output saying, I'm reading all about plants tonight, right? The I'm will retain the single quote, and then all about plants will have the double quote. Another way you can code this program here is to start with 3 double quotes, and then you can just type whatever you want the Python to output for you, and then end with 3 double quotes. Or you can start with 3 single quote, just type in whatever you want the output to look like, and then end with 3 single quote. The fourth way of coding this is using an escape character. The escape character basically say, leave the single quote alone. Don't interpret that as the end of my sentence. So here I'm starting with a single quote, and then I put the letter I, and then a backslash, which is the escape character, and then my single quote, telling Python to leave the single quote alone. Don't interpret it any other way. And then the rest of the sentence, and end it with a single quote because I started with a single quote. So you can see line 4 will print exactly what we see in these previous lines here. Line 5 here, you can do some manipulation here. You can start with a double quote and then type in I'm with the single quote between the letter I and M, and then end with a double quote. Then start the next sentence with a single quote because you want to have double quotes all about plants. And then, of course, you end it with a single quote, and when you print it, it will look something like this. Let's look at another way to use this backslash. Here, I have print, and then open parentheses, a single quote, greetings, a period, and then I have a backslash here. This backslash means continuing. Thank you for watching this video. Continue typing that in my output. Don't make thank you for watching this video another line in my output. So if I run this, you can see greetings. Thank you for watching this video. So this is a continuation. Continue the next line and print that all in one line here. Now I'm going to talk about the end parameter at this time here. Here I have an end parameter. So I'll have 2 print statements here. All right, hello there, everyone. And then I have a comma, and then I have the end parameter equal sign and 2 quotes here, 2 single quotes. This inside here denotes how many spaces do you want between the first line and the second line. So let's run it and see the outcome of here. So I have here in the first print line, hello there, everyone, with an exclamation point. And then the end parameter with an equal sign and 2 single quotes means that continue printing the second line right here, my second print line here. Continue to print that in my output as one line. So you can prevent a line break in Python by instructing that the next string should be on the next line by using the end parameter. Here's another example. Here I have 2 end parameters here in lines 1 and 2. That means, and I have a period here. So when we run it, you can see this is my program. It will have a period. So whatever you put inside the single quote, that will be printed. And I have another space after the period. So there's a space here as well. And then it continues. Even though I have a second print statement here, it will continue printing in my output as one line. Now, if I don't have this, so let's remove this. You will see, you will get a different output. All right, so if I run this, you will see I will get 3 lines because I didn't have the end parameter, just like in the previous program that I showed you. Now let's look at another parameter, which is called the set parameter. Oops, wrong one. Here I have a set parameter. This is a separator. Sep stands for separator, and it is assigned with a single or double quote. You can put a single or double quote here. By default, it'll be single quote. It determines the value to join the elements with. For example, I have one print line here. Print greetings, how are you? But with the sep parameter, you will see when I run it, it will include the exclamation point. See here, it will combine these two lines together with an exclamation point, as you can see here. Let's take more examples here. And here I can combine using sep. Sep equals none means I don't have to separate with anything. But this sep here, it has a blank space here. That means separated with a blank space. So hello world, when it's printed out, will have a space between hello and world. And then this is just regular printing. So let's run this and see what the output is. So all of these print statements will print the same thing. It's just different ways of printing hello world here. Either you use a sep here, equals none, that means no separators. This one has a separator that is a blank space, and then this one just print hello world. Let's go ahead and look at this here. I'm just changing the second print line here. All right, this one, let's print it and run it. You can see I didn't change anything on the first print statement or the last one, but I just changed the second print statement here. Hello world, sep, and then just two single quote here. And there's not a space between the single quote, and you can see that hello world here will have no space. We can do this working with sep. We can do \n. \n, this is escape character. The n means new line. So when I run this, it will give me two separate lines here in my output. That means hello, and then \n, that means give me a line break, and then world will be on the second line here. So it separates the two words with a \n. This is called an escaped new line character, the \n. We can use more example of \n and run this. You can see hello world 1, and then \n means type in what's coming next on the second line. Hello world 2, and then \n means type hello world on the next line after hello world. So you can see the output looks something like that. Let's work some more and back to the separator, just doing different examples for you. You can see I put in a dash and a greater than symbol here to separate these words. And so the output will have this specific symbol that you code in that will appear in the output. Combining the and parameter and the separator. All right, so I'm combining the and parameter and the separate parameter, and each of them have a comma inside their single quote here. And when we run it, you can see that this will generate one single output. So this example, or one line in my output, it combined these three print statements into one line using the and parameter and the set parameter. So the comma here in the end prevent a line break, and also put comma there. That's what the purpose of this comma is. All right. So let me move on to the next slide here. Well, that basically concludes the print function here. Thank you for joining me today. Please remember to subscribe to this channel and click the like button for more videos about Python. Come back and join us again. Until then, happy coding.